Welcome everyone to week number 8, our final week together in Science 200, and you will be turning in your final presentations this week. Last week, you prepared your speaker's notes that go along with your presentation. They go at the bottom of the slides, and the speaker's notes are the words that you would say to your audience as you're presenting the information to them. So it's all about the substance of your presentation. You learned a lot of interesting things about your topics, and I've listed a few here. Genetic engineering, for example, has not been performed in human embryos, except for one particular Chinese scientist who did this with 2 female human embryos, and as far as I know, they are fine right now. Now, the problem is that this is not acceptable in the scientific community. It's only been done once, and this fellow was a Chinese scientist, and China put him in prison for 3 years because of this. So I don't think he'll be doing that one again. So this is just hypothetical issues that we're examining with genetic engineering, especially in human beings. We have done this in animal models, however. Ocean acidification, the fact that carbon dioxide is diffusing into the ocean water and changing the pH of it is causing detrimental effects, and we see that all around the globe. Biodiversity conservation, a lot of biodiversity is being lost because of habitat loss. And I think a lot of you who chose this actually found that to be true. Electric vehicles aren't quite as environmentally friendly as everybody thinks because, first of all, how do you get the electricity that runs these vehicles? Where is this electricity being generated? Also, what is the cost of mining the materials for making the batteries? Also, how do you dispose of the batteries from electric vehicles? That's also a problem. GMOs, I hope that you learned that there really are no studies that show that they are unsafe for human consumption, at least at this point in time. It may come up later that we find that they are. Another thing that you should have realized was that there's very little genetic manipulation that goes on in these organisms. There's only 1 or 2 genes that have been changed in a corn plant in order to give it the characteristics that we want. So, that being said, you learned some interesting things about your topics this week, and you shared those in the discussion board postings. This week, you also have discussion board posts. Your initial post is all about your audience. What were your challenges presenting to your particular audience, and did your sources help you by giving that audience the information that they need and that you want to communicate to them? Your response posts have to do with how similar or different your experience was with your audience from the person who you are responding to. So please be sure and do that. Complete your exercises in Chapter 8, all about the Deepwater Horizon oil spill and how it was communicated, and put in layman's language, this is important, from scientists to the general public about the costs and what happened with the oil spill and the ecological damage produced by this oil spill. Then you have your final presentation to turn in. It's 5 to 7 slides. Now you can add an introductory slide with the name of your presentation on it, your name, that sort of thing. You can have extra slides at the end for your references. That's perfectly fine. But you should have 5 to 7 substantive slides, impactful slides as your presentation. Now I say substantive, but I don't mean a whole lot of words need to be on the slides because they should not. The words should be down in your speaker's notes. So include graphics, include something that is impactful, something that will grab your audience's attention and draw them into your presentation. Include data if you have any. So for example, electric vehicles, what is the carbon footprint of an electric vehicle? There's data out there on that. Include things like that, data. Make bullet points, not huge paragraphs of words. Please don't do that, because no one wants to read that when they're being presented a presentation. So bullet points, just to remind you what you're talking about. And then finally, the last thing that I would like for you to do is your course evaluation, because that helps me as an instructor. It also helps my team lead and my dean know how I'm doing as an instructor. So please do leave the course evaluation. Fill that out for us, please. As one of the last things that you do. The last day to turn in any work is Sunday, June the 30th at 11:59 p.m. After that, you cannot turn in anything. I cannot turn in anything. So you can't send it to me and get me to put it in, because I can't. So get your work turned in as quickly as possible. If you want to ask for an incomplete, we have to do that beforehand. We have to. And not only that, you have to have successfully completed 70% of the coursework. That means you have to have passed 70% of the coursework, and I have to check off a box when I'm filling out the request that says that yes, you have done this, and if you haven't, then I can't check the box. So just realize that if you're interested in an incomplete. Please email me if you are, so that we can work on that together and figure out whether we can turn in a request or not. Let me know if you're having any issues whatsoever before the end of the term, so that we can solve any problems that you're having and figure out what to do about them. I wish you all the best luck, and I hope that you have a wonderful summer and that you make it through this course and move on to the next course and earn your degree as quickly as possible. That being said, let me know if you need anything. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I hope that you have a wonderful last week.